Welcome to this session from the library. My name is Jessica Wilkinson and I'm your liaison librarian. The topic of this presentation is how to evaluate sources. And we'll be looking at the pros and cons of different publication types. Also the difference between primary and secondary sources of information. We'll also learn how to evaluate source materials, and I'll be linking to different tools that you can use for this. So if you're given an essay title to go off and research, then the question is where to search. Obviously, you got the internet, which contains a large number of different resources. You got blogs, videos, company websites, etc. And the internet is often quite easy to use. But you have to remember to be careful. There is, of course, no quality control here, and you can waste lots of time if your search isn't focused enough. You also got the library, where we have good quality information and also trained staff that can help you. We have the library catalog, which can help you find books and ebooks, journals, reports, videos, etc. We also subscribe to a large number of different databases. We have general ones and subject-specific ones. These contain articles and dissertations, etc. We also have Discover, which is the university's search service. Discover links to lots of our holdings, so you can search lots of different source materials in one go. But you have to remember that Discover doesn't search all the databases. It only covers some of them. So if you want to be able to say that you've done a thorough search, then the best thing is to also go into the databases individually. These are the different types of sources that you might encounter. First of all, we have textbooks. These focus on a particular topic, key ideas, and have good bibliographies. And a multi-themed textbook can give you a good overview of a subject. The cons include that these might be out of date. They can also be biased, and they might only give you a partial view of a subject. Next in the list, we have academic journals. These are more current than textbooks. They often take a theoretical approach, where reasoned debate is used to present new ways of thinking or critique of a subject. They often take an empirical approach, when new research is used to offer new insights or critique of a subject. The cons include that the language might be inaccessible, and some journals have a 2-year waiting list to be published. There's also professional journals. These uphold the standards of a profession, and checks are made on the credibility and authenticity of the information that's being presented. The language is usually easier to understand, and they can be more contemporary than academic journals. Cons include that the language may still be difficult if you're new to a subject, and articles may not challenge the norms of the profession, and these can also be biased. Last in the list, we have government reports and papers. The pros include that the method of gathering data is usually reliable, and the data analysis is thoroughly checked, and the findings are often applicable to a wider context. Cons include that the data has been gathered and analyzed for a specific purpose, and they may have a political bias. Now, you might have heard people mention primary resources and secondary resources. An original publication of raw data, including statistical analysis, is a primary source. A secondary is a subsequent publication that draws on the data of the original primary source, often for a different purpose. The original source should always be acknowledged so that readers can look this up. There are different tools to help you evaluate sources. We start off with the CRAP test, and this was developed at California State University. And this looks at currency, the timeliness of the information, the relevance, so that's the importance of the information for your particular needs, the authority, the source of the information, is it reliable or not, accuracy, so that looks at the reliability, the truthfulness, and the correctness of the content. And last of all, purpose, the reason the information exists. And at the bottom here, you can find a link to the CRAP test if you want to look into that any further. The next tool we have is from Berkeley Library, the Evaluating Resources Guide. This looks at the authority, who's the author, what's their point of view, the purpose, why was this source created, who's the intended audience. It also looks at the publication and format, where was it published, in what medium. The relevance, how is it relevant to your research, what's its scope. The date of publication, when was it written, has it been updated since. And lastly, documentation. Did the authors cite the sources they used, and how did they cite, and who? The last one is from the University of Leeds, and again we got the link at the bottom of the slide. This checklist helps you determine if you feel confident to use an information source or not by looking at the authority, objectivity, the timeliness, the supporting evidence that's presented, and the relevance to your particular needs. So all these tools that I've mentioned are fairly similar. You can have a look at them by following the links at the bottom of each slide and decide which one you like the best or which one's the most useful for your particular assignment. So here's an example of a web page that I might encounter as I'm doing my research. So I can see here at the top it says foodnavigator.com, and I'm not familiar with this from before. If you follow the link at the bottom, you'll see that it has quite a lot of publications on there. But if I was to use this, I would want to know more first. So this particular article here, it's written by Nathan Gray. It says, I don't know who he is at all. So I might want to Google him or see if there's any information on this web page about him. And I can see lots of ads on this page as well, which makes me wonder if this is a commercial website in any way. So that's not to say that the data on here is not usable, but I would have to learn a little bit more, I think, about this particular web page. And here's another example. This is from the NHS, which I am familiar with. So straight away, I'm feeling a little bit more positive about this one. But I will still have to be careful. You have to read the text and see how it's presented. Has it got references to scientific articles? And has it been updated recently, for instance? So just because it's from the NHS, it doesn't mean you can forget about all those tools that I showed you. You still have to evaluate the text that you can read on here and see what you think. Can you use it? Is it relevant to you? Who's written it? And why, etc. If you have any questions or problems, feel free to contact me. My name is Jessica Wilkinson and my email address is jwilkinson@qmu.ac.uk. That's it for this presentation. I hope you find those tools useful. Thank you very much for watching and bye for now.